have an extension too.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's our pleasure to welcome you aboard American Eagle 4325 with service to Miami.
Okay. Mary.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about what we've done so far, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, so I flew in to Cusco.
You did.
So we hop on our bus. It's a night bus. Very comfortable looking seats. They recline. Everything's looking great, yeah?
It was the worst bus ride of my whole life.
Just explain, the story in detail of the bus.
Well,
How did it begin?
We bought tickets on a bus sign called Night Bus from Hell.
Nightbusfromhell.com.
That's where we bought the tickets from. And it started with a lot of explosions because
Fire.
and fire
And guns.
because they were playing the movie Taken 3, and the speaker was right in my ears, so my eardrums were bleeding.
Yeah, well, why didn't she turn it down then?
I asked her to.
Her.
Yeah.
The queen of the bus.
The queen of the
The
bus. Known as Maleficent.
Yep.
And she refused because everyone else then could not hear the movie.
But as we turned around and looked at said everyone else, everyone was sleeping except for the three gringos.
Or trying to
Or
sleep.
cringing in pain from the volume of the movie.
We spend a night there. It's lovely. And we wake up and we get on a boat to travel deep into the depths of the Peruvian Amazon.
For 3 hours.
3-hour
on
boat
the
ride.
Tambopata River.
Tambopata.
Which is a tributary of the Amazon River. Well, on the ride, we saw on the banks a capybara,
Yeah,
which is the world's largest rodent.
world's largest
He
rodent.
had a little bird picking the fleas off of him.
Possibly,
which is really cute.
possibly the world's cutest rodent.
I would say so. Well,
Yeah.
chipmunks are really cute.
Yeah, they're pretty cute. So 3-hour boat ride. We get off on a muddy bank, and we start taking our gear up to where we're staying. So we get to the house. What's your first reading of where we're staying? What's your interpretation of that?
A lot more rustic than I thought it would be. Very essential.
Yeah. There's like a big hut with some nuts and bananas in it.
Yeah.
There's a kitchen, and then there's like a floor that you sleep on.
Yeah.
That's about it.
They hadn't set anything up, so it was literally just like open space under a hut. And then we had to construct our beds, and it was basically like a mattress this thin with sheets, and then we got mosquito netting over that.
Yeah, which worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it was actually way more
Yeah.
comfortable than I thought it would be.
Wave!
I got there, and it was a 3-hour boat ride. I had to use the baños. Can you explain the bathroom?
I think a good word would be horrifying. I mean, it was literally just a hole in the ground, way out in the woods, and you had to hike along this trail and kind of machete your way back. And then once you got there, it was a wooden platform, and with a
2x4.
with a 2x4 over the hole, and you had to kick that aside with your foot.
Which that thing
was fine.
That thing was covered in urine.
She did pour some disinfectant
No,
over
I
it
made
the first
I
time
made
we
sure it
used
was covered in urine.
Okay.
Eco-friendly.
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 All right, so that was good. So we were supposed to be there for how many days?
8.
8 days. But what happened? What happened there?
So, Ivy this whole time, I think, was not coping well with the level of rusticness that we were dealing with.
Our good buddy Ivy.
Our good buddy Ivy. So she was just covered in mosquito bites, which I think kind of fueled like a little panic, you know?
Right.
So I think it kind of turned into like panicky, like I don't want to be here and I can't get out of here because we're 3 hours away on a canoe from civilization, like I can't get away. So we had to leave.
Yeah, we decided with Ivy's deteriorating bug plague condition, we would just take the boat out.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. Days to spend in Puerto Maldonado. We stayed into the Amazon Lodge.
Which is the best lodge.
The best lodge.
So cool.
Yeah, tell us about the lodge.
So the lodge is owned by a Thai woman, Wadi, and her Swiss husband, Donald. And they have a pretty awesome little piece of property where actually we saw a lot of other wild animals that came in and out of the property. There were monkeys in the trees one day, and they also own several monkeys because the gold miners in the area will kill the mother monkeys for meat, and then they don't know what to do with the babies, and they'll just give Wadi and Donald the baby monkeys to raise.
Yeah. So you got to remember to shut your doors in the Amazon. Yeah, because I mean, now how do you deal with this situation?
Whoa! That's amazing. See, this is just like a jungle gym for you, isn't it?
I know.
Like, she's having so much fun.
She's like, some idiot left their door open. This is the best.
Stupid.
Okay, so that was our time in the jungle.
It was good.
It was good. It was a good time in the jungle. We got a night bus back to Cusco. So we were in Cusco. We had a good time. We did some last minute shopping.
We ate delicious ice cream.
We ate some delicious ice cream.
We got water thrown on us from balconies.
Yep, it was Carnival. It was a big old party. A lot of people just totally abusing the tourists.
Totally abusing the tourists.
And and now we are at the airport. The first leg of our trip is done. We've said goodbye to the jungle. And where are we going now?
We're going to Asunción, Paraguay.
Asunción, Paraguay. And everyone we tell, they ask us, why?
Why are you going to Paraguay?
Why? What's in Paraguay? And we say, we don't know.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. Even the people working at the airport, when they see our tickets to Paraguay, they look amazed, shocked.
Why are you going there?
Who goes there?
We do.
We do.
We go to Paraguay.
Because we can't get into Brazil.
Because they won't let us in.
They won't let us in. So what of after Lima, where did we fly into?
We fly into Asunción, Paraguay.
Right, which we heard was an up-and-coming tourist spot.
We read that after going there and promptly discarded that guidebook because that was ridiculous.
What happened? What was the city like?
Well, first of all, no one goes to Paraguay apparently. We asked the guy who owned the hostel for things to do, and he was like, There's nothing here. Why are you here? Leave as soon as possible. He was really nice about it though. He was just being honest. There was nothing to do there.
We walked around.
We decided the town really could benefit if they started marketing themselves to the filming industry. It would be a great set for like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, you need to film a zombie movie, go to Asuncion, Paraguay.
Post-apocalyptic, lots of graffiti on the walls.
Yeah.
Crumbling buildings.
Yeah, and all this graffiti. There's some pretty political stuff.
Very political.
They'd recently had their bicentennial. One of our favorite pieces of graffiti just said 200 years of shit. Which is a great name for an album.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A post-apocalyptic film.
Right, 200 years of shit. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, and then we also saw some very anti-American graffiti. Of course, we don't know anything about Paraguay or its history.
We don't know what we did to them, but it was apparently bad.
We did
it was
some
bad. We were portrayed as a
things.
pig, and the country was being served up to us on a plate.
Yeah.
Us in Brazil.
Yeah.
And we were greedily eating the country.
I didn't even know we were friends with Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No clue what's happening there.
So we stayed a day there and then found out there's nothing to do except go to TGI Fridays.
Except to get out of there.
So we hopped on a bus, and it was about a 6-hour ride across the country to on our way to Iguazu Falls.
Puerto Iguazu.
Iguazu.
Yes.
In Argentina. On the bus, they decided to play some movies.
Yes.
They played Flick of 3.
We both decided this would make a better film as a porno.
I said a horror film would be good. Flick of 3.
I'm pretty
The
sure.
Reckoning.
I'm pretty sure she said porn. Equus 2.
Yeah.
Twice. They ended Flick of 3. There was still about an hour and a half of bus left, so they started a new film. That the next film was also Flick of 3.
Also Flick of 3.
If you haven't seen Flick of 3, great George W. Bush lookalike.
Yeah. Horses.
A horse that's not even really in the movie.
There's a couple horses, but yeah, Flicka is not featured very much in Flicka 3.
No.
It's mainly about the clique in the school that's mean to her.
Yeah.
The mean girl.
It's like Mean Girls. It's with a horse.
But it's fine at the end, they're best friends.
Yeah, so we watched it twice, so we're pretty big fans of it now.
We forgot something that Paraguay did introduce us to. So one day we were walking down the street, and this man who, the nice thing about Paraguay is it's not touristy, so no one is trying to hawk things.
Nobody cares if you buy anything. They don't care
if you're there. They're just we're living our lives. But we were walking down the street, and this cute little old man watched us walk by, and he had this basket of warm bread things, and we didn't know what they were, and he just went, "Chipa." He was introducing us to this thing.
He knew as we looked at it, he could see it in our eyes that we didn't know what chipa was, and he said, "Chipa."
And we didn't buy any then.
No, because he freaked me out.
On the bus, as we were watching Flicka 3, we stopped. The whole bus stopped specifically at a chiparia.
Right.
To get chipa. So they come on the bus
with a giant
huge
sack.
Baskets of steaming chipa, and it filled the bus with such a good smell we had to buy some.
Right. And what is chipa?
Oh, what is chipa?
What is chipa? Can you describe chipa in words?
It's so good.
So it's crispy on the outside, a little squishier on the inside, very buttery. It's a very buttery bread.
It's almost cheesy.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like cheesy baked into it.
Cheese herb.
Actually, you know what it reminds me of? Texture-wise and a little taste-wise, but it's more subtle. The rolls from Red Lobster. The bread rolls of Red Lobster. That's what it is.
Like cheese bread rolls.
Yeah. It's like Bagel Plus.
That's way better than a bagel.
Exactly. That's why do we even have bagels in the world?
We need chipa.
Just make chipa.
Just make chipa.
So thank you, Paraguay.
Thank you, chipa.
So we make it to our hostel in Puerto Iguazu. And the next day we head out to see one of the wonders of the world. One
of the 7 wonders of the world.
7 natural, modern wonders of the world.
There's a lot of lists, it turns out.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We're in Iguazu Falls.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a wonder of the world or something. I don't know.
What are the rules, Chips?
Well, the train is in motion. Please do not stand or walk. Lean out Stick your arms and legs out of the yellow lie. I think they mean line. And throw any object. Do not do these things, and do not smoke cigarettes.
Sounds like a real fun train ride.
Yeah, this is great. Welcome to the natural wonders of the world.
I'm mad.
We're gonna show you Chips' horrendous body.
Check it out, guys.
He's just been eaten alive.
It's an allergic reaction.
He's been eaten alive by cobs.
It burns.
So terrible. It looks like his body is literally covered in nipples. It's just horrible. We bought this young man some Loratadine and some hydrocortisone cream. We'll see if that cures him up during the day, but I mean, that's just disgusting. Look at his face. I got him on his face.
Up here?
On his face.
Yeah. It's bad. Tell us about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chips.
All right.
Those are literally the best waterfalls I've ever seen in my whole life.
Best waterfalls, and this girl's seen waterfalls.
You know, I've seen a lot of waterfalls.
I mean, she's seen a lot of water
I saw
falling
Niagara.
off of cliffs.
The thing about Niagara is it feels very commercial.
Right.
Like when you're there, it doesn't feel like you're in nature.
Right.
But in Iguazu, you're on these catwalks that are hidden in the jungle, and you walk through, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah. And it's a lot of water. I mean,
A lot.
it's hypnotic. I felt like every 30 seconds, I just expected it to stop because I felt like can't go on forever.
So much water.
Too much water. Where's it all coming from?
Yeah.
But it just kept going. Apparently, it does it all night too.
Apparently,
And all
it
day.
doesn't turn off at night.
It doesn't turn off.
The best part was Garganta del Diablo, the devil's throat.
Yeah.
And that was a part that you went and it was kind of like a horseshoe and it was just so much sheer power
Yeah.
coming off that cliff. It was crazy.
Blows my mind.
Also, lots of rainbows and butterflies.
A lot of rainbows and butterflies.
All over that park.
Yeah, crazy.
Every waterfall has rainbows and butterflies.
Too many.
So many. I don't know if you're gonna have to do it.
All right. Where are we going?
Going to see some Jesuit ruins.
Yeah, what's the town name?
Oh, it's called San Ignacio.
San Ignacio.
San Ignacio.
Yeah, we're on a bus.
Make you an offer you cannot refuse.
It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Well, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mhm.
And what are we?
We're a little drunk.
We're drunk.
We did get prime seats. Check this out. Oh, snap.
It's like a ride.
It is.
It is a ride. But like a movie ride.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at
Universal
Studios, Disney World.
We just need a bar.
Yeah, we have no seatbelts.
No seatbelts.
So we'll go right through the window.
If we crash, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's just gonna happen.
All right, so we made it to San Ignacio. Initially, we go see the more famous ruins in the morning.
San Ignacio Mini, and then in the afternoon we went to Loreto, which was a much smaller mission, and it's not been reconstructed, so it's pretty much just like piles of stone in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
But it was still really cool.
It's pretty cool. Welcome to South America. Beautiful countryside, gorgeous weather, all the women. Welcome to South America.
We're at a bus stop. It's raining a lot. We had one offer from a taxi driver, but then Chips made note that he could be a human trafficker.
Yeah,
So
there's a giant sign over there that says no to human trafficking, and Mary's like, 60? Should we get in the car for 60?
So we decided to sit here in the rain and take the bus, even though Chips is the only one with a rain jacket, which he's wearing and, you know, showing off. Yeah, that's nice, Chips. Real nice.
Yep.
Real nice. No rain jacket.
jacket. No rain jacket. So around this time, Mary also started noticing a small cough.
Yeah, I thought I had allergies or like a little cold.
Right.
You know?
But we'll go more into that later.
That will come up again later.
So then we take a bus that night.
Chips, what are we doing?
We're on a bus to Posadas, Argentina.
Where's Posadas, Argentina? Where are we going there?
Well, we were supposed to go to another city for Carnival.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That's my fault.
Corrientes.
Lo siento.
We're gonna go to Corrientes, right? Huge carnival. Turns out it's probably over.
That happened a week ago.
Right. So we say, what do we do now? We gotta get down south. We gotta get to the beach. Carnival's not going on.
No wasted days.
No wasted days. We gotta get to the beach. So we say, somebody, take us to the border of Uruguay. They say, no buses going that way tonight. We're done. You're screwed. So
You're screwed.
Yeah. So I say, take me to Posadas. It's a city.
It's bigger.
It's bigger. It's gonna have a bus terminal.
More buses.
We're gonna look for a bus. If there ain't no bus, I don't know what we're gonna do. It's gonna be 9 maybe o'clock at night, and we're gonna be in a bus terminal in Posadas, Argentina.
But
Yeah.
we have a lucky coin.
We have a lucky coin.
How much luck did our coin bring us tonight?
Pretty good, actually. Not a lot of luck. So we did come to Posadas, and we had our hopes set high on finding a vehicle to take us, and we found one. It'll take us tomorrow. So we had to
At 4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's fine, you know. We'll
It's
just
not to the place we wanted to go.
No, we switched it up, but you know, we figured fine, we'll get a hostel, it'll be great. So we go to get some money out of the ATM, and the ATM says no.
Your card does not work here.
Your card's not good.
For both of us.
Right. So we go to another ATM, different bank. No. Turns out Posadas, ATMs in that town. No.
Do not like us.
So we got nowhere to stay for free. So
We tried to stay in this bus terminal, but it closes in an hour.
in an hour, this bus terminal closes, and then that's the end of our air conditioning.
We're gonna suffocate to death.
And we'll just sleep somewhere on the street tonight.
Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, I know. I came up with that.
We initially hung out in the little office where our bus was leaving from, but that closed at 11 o'clock, so we got kicked out of there. Then we went to a diner we were told was an all-night diner.
Yeah. All right.
Now it tastes like cigarettes with sugar in it.
We've moved on to phase 2
Of our plan.
of our plan. They shut down the bus terminal and they kicked us out. So what's phase 2?
I can't explain it. It's too funny. Phase 2 is that we're in this diner, and every time they try to kick us out, Chips. I don't know what's so funny. Chips is gonna order another plate of spaghetti. And he's gonna explain through my Spanish translation that he has to maintain a specific dietary amount of spaghetti or he'll die. So every time they try to kick us out, we'll beg mercy and ask for another plate of spaghetti.
And this particular situation, I must eat the spaghetti. It must take 2 hours to consume the plate of spaghetti, or else I'll have had too much too fast, and I will die. So, it makes sense, yes.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're gonna try to play spades with 2 people. So that should go well.
We're a couple of real winners tonight. 24-hour diner and a train, some bus station in Argentina.
The Chips got delicious steak at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah, so I say, we don't have any money. I say, well, we have some American dollars. Will you take those? And he very eagerly says, yes, I will take your American dollars.
Oh, I forgot you paid with American dollars.
Yeah.
There's a blue market for money in Argentina. The Argentinians want to save their money in American dollars because it's more stable, apparently. Yeah.
So he was really happy to take my dollars, actually. So I ended up getting steak, and it worked out well.
Drank a lot of coffee because we had to stay up to watch our bags.
Right.
We couldn't just go to sleep.
At 2 a.m. we get kicked out of the diner. So we're fine, okay? We're fine.
We're doing great.
We're
having a great time. This is so much fun.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll let you know what happens.
Unless we're dead and can't operate the camera.
It would-
We're stabbed by an Argentinian hobo.
Yeah. Mary drank 1 cup of coffee, but she swears she's gonna be able to stay awake.
I'll be able to stay awake.
It ain't happening.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
All right.
Cut to me sleeping.
Found a bench to fall asleep on.
Yes.
And we were woken up maybe 40 minutes later
Yeah.
by someone poking us.
Cop.
It was a cop.
Cop
He's
poked
kicking
us.
us out.
He said you can't sleep on these benches.
Can't sleep on the benches.
I'm gonna go film this donkey over here. We've been listening to this noise for the past 13 hours. Go ahead and make the noise, donkey.
Do it. Do it.
The man with the plan, the big pan, big can. Is a Chinese tan with a big can. And a little man.
To distant lands, takes both my hands, never a frown with golden sun.
Go ahead and make the noise.
Stand up. Stand up. You gotta stand up, or I won't tell my story. I'll tell my story. Alright. So I went fox hunting, you know, before it was illegal, right? I went fox hunting. And my little beagle, his name was Ralph. Ralph the Beagle. And I had a hunting knife, you know. And we didn't have any guns. We're kids. They can't give us a gun. So we sent Ralph. Oh God. We sent Ralph out to flush the fox out. We had him trapped, you know, in the asphalt playground of our elementary school, you know. So we had this fox trapped, and we flush him outdoors, right? And there's kids trying to play Foursquare and shit. This fox comes running out, and I just shank him right in the belly as he tries to run past, you know. It was my first fox kill.
Donkey. Make the noise, donkey. That was the noise. Looks like we have 3 options of things on this cactus for this game. There's a elephant, a donkey, sheep. Don't know how to play this game. So here we are in a different cafe. It's not the first cafe, but this one opened up. So there's probably some more coffee coming our way. That's good.
Maybe they'll take USD. after the wretched Posadas bus situation. We had money, we had a bus ticket, we head out, and after a very long travel by bus and by ferry.
48 hours, was it?
It was probably about 48 hours of
Just straight
traveling.
Yeah.
Then and a ferry ride from Buenos Aires to Montevideo.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we end up?
Punta del Diablo.
And what's that?
Devil's Point.
And what's that?
Beach.
That's a beach. And tell us about this beach town.
Oh, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like a little laid-back beach town. I think in the summers it gets a little more touristy, but we kind of were hitting it right after off-season, so it was nice and laid back. There weren't a lot of people there. I got horribly burned on the back of my legs.
I got our legs burned. I stayed out in the sun for probably about 10 minutes, which is
and
good.
And you still got burned.
And I still got burned. So after that, we took a bus out of there. So we check into our hostel in Buenos Aires.
Mm-hmm. Very cool hostel.
Yeah.
It's a part of town called Palermo, which is kind of the new and upcoming artsy district. And in fact, we're staying in a hostel called the Art Factory, which is really cool. It had huge, like almost like graffiti murals on the wall that people had painted. Really nice place.
Yeah, really, I would recommend
the Art Factory.
The Art Factory. So what did we do our first day in Buenos Aires?
Ooh, we did a lot.
We did a lot. It was a big day.
Big day. First we woke up.
We woke up.
Went to the Recoleta Cemetery, which is basically where all the rich and famous and powerful people in Buenos Aires are buried. So politicians, presidents, lots of presidents, generals, anyone rich and famous, celebrities, and the main attraction is the tomb of Evita Perón.
Of course.
So we went and saw Evita's tomb, which is a lot more subdued than you would think, but she's buried in her family tomb under the Duartes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a tomb built for her. It was just her family's tomb.
And you can't see her or anything. I mean, they buried her underground because
way underground.
There was a lot of problems with that body, you know. So
her body was desecrated.
Yeah. So you gotta hide that stuff. We also that day went to the Malba.
Yes.
Which is the
Museo Arte de Buenos Aires, Latin America. It was Latin American art. Modern art.
Modern Latin American art.
Yes.
So who do we got? We got Frida up there.
We saw Frida Kahlo painting. We saw Diego Rivera painting.
Yep.
And we saw the very famous painting, the iconic image of Che Guevara.
Yeah. Great
Plus
place.
A lot of other just really excellent art. Yeah, it was fun.
Mary was having her birthday. So we had to go get a steak.
I was having my birthday.
And our cab driver, who when we first got to Buenos Aires, told us about a steak place.
Yes.
La Cabrera.
La Cabrera.
Where are we eating?
We're in Buenos Aires at a restaurant called La Cabrera. And it was recommended to us by our cab driver. So far it's looking pretty expensive and tasty. It's
going to be really expensive.
It's going to be expensive. This will be the second steak I've eaten today.
Which apparently was on a list of 50 top places to eat in all of South America.
Right.
Yeah.
So we go there. It's a meat house.
Chips.
Yeah.
What do you got here?
I got a beef de chorizo. It's a steak.
Ooh.
Yeah. What do you got over there?
Some beef.
Yeah, Mary doesn't know what she ordered.
I was told what to order.
Yeah, it looks freaking amazing though.
We got some sides over here. Looking good. Pretty excited.
Real excited.
We'll check back in later.
Get out of here.
How you feeling?
Good.
Scale of 1 to 10 on the steak.
We're like at 9.2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a better steak?
I can't think of one. But that steak in the diner was great. But that was more of like I needed it, you know?
Yeah.
This is like, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best steak I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
It's freaking great. I'm going to get another one tomorrow. So that was it. So the next day, We leave. We go to the airport. We got to get there real early to get our flight.
Yeah,
'Cause if we
super
don't-
early.
we don't wanna
woke
miss
up
our
at
flight.
4 a.m.
We woke up at 4 a.m. to get
4
our
a.m.
flight. Yeah.
after we had coughed all night.
Yeah.
No sleep.
Get a cab, get to the airport. We go to get our flight, and we check our bags. We go through.
Yep.
We're waiting for our flight.
Ready for it.
It says it's on time. Everything's
On time.
on schedule. Looks good.
Yeah.
And then the plane's not quite there yet, and it's almost boarding time. We're wondering, when's the plane going to get here?
Yeah.
So you go to inquire as to where the plane might be. Hey, Mary. What's happening right now?
Well, Chips, we're sitting in the airport.
We're in the airport.
The flight was supposed to leave an hour ago,
Yeah, but why are we still here?
but we're still here.
What's that about?
Well, it appears that the airline workers are on strike.
Just the land workers were on strike and they don't know when it's going to end.
Right.
So I was like, well, like tomorrow? Like, is this going to be delayed until tomorrow or like what?
We don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah. Could
and
be
we
days.
don't know anything that's happening.
Could be days.
It could be days. Hopefully not. That's ridiculous. If it is days, I'm going to throw a fit.
Last
They're
year-
gonna Put
last-
me up in the Marriott.
I looked it up. Last year they struck for 48 hours.
Great. Hopefully this time it's 1 hour.
Yeah. 1 hour strike. Very effective.
That would be very effective for me.
Yeah.
In my life.
All right.
Yeah, we're just sitting here.
Let's see how it goes.
I think things are going to devolve into madness soon.
We had no idea how long we were going to have to wait.
Right. So we sit around for a while. Finally, they put us on the plane. Thank God. They put us on the plane. We traffic out. We get to the runway. We're heading out. We're about to leave
So
for
excited.
Ushuaia.
Ushuaia.
We're so excited. The plane sits there for a few minutes. We end up moving again. We're excited. And then I realize that we've just parked back where we started. They say now is when you get off the plane.
We were driven around the runway, then stopped back on the runway, given snack boxes, and we had to sit there on the plane for, another hour?
About an hour.
Just with the door open. And then they're like, all right, now you can get off the plane, and here's your ticket for a free sandwich.
Right. Then they said, you know what, it turns out we might not be able to leave here.
Get off the plane.
Get off
again.
the plane. So we get off the plane, we go into the airport, we get some food, and then right before my burger's coming out, I'm about to eat this burger, I'm real excited about it, we look over and there's a flight boarding with our flight number. They'd thrown us on a different flight, another plane. So we gotta rush out of there. I grab my burger to go, throw some money at them. We get on out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So we got out of there.
and where do we end up?
Ushuaia.
Ushuaia.
Land of beautiful things.
The end of the world.
The end of the world.
Everything
Yeah,
south of Ushuaia is ice and sea.
that's right.
And Port Williams,
And
but
Port
we don't
Williams.
talk about
count
that
it.
place.
We don't talk about Port Williams. But,
Yeah,
yeah, Ushuaia.
Ushuaia.
Land of ice and sea.
Land of ice and sea.
Furthest south in the world.
Yeah, and that was the second leg of our journey.
That we will talk about.
No.
Eventually.
No, we already talked about the second
Yeah. But the third leg, that's what we'll talk about eventually.
leg. We're sleep deprived.
It's the cough.
It's the cough. The cough's coming back. So we'll catch you after the third stretch. Don't know when that's going to be. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Hello, everyone.
Hey there. Doing a little update.
Little update.
We'll update what we've done, where we've been.
Flying in Ushuaia was really beautiful. It's just very stormy and stark.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did we do in Ushuaia? We did go hiking in Ushuaia.
Yeah, we did at
Yeah.
the national park. Saw a lot of pretty birds,
Yep.
including giant woodpeckers.
Massive.
Like this big, and their heads are bright red. They just slam their little heads against the tree.
If they gained sentience and wanted to destroy civilization, they probably could.
With their beaks.
With their beaks.
They're massive. And they don't care about people. You can get right next to them and they don't care.
Right.
Because they know they can pick your eyes out.
Yeah, they could break a
don't
skull.
care.
They have the strongest back and necks. They could be rowers.
They could.
Yeah.
They're tough little birds.
Tough birds.
Tough big birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. We went on a boat ride.
Yes. Beautiful boat ride.
Gorgeous.
So pretty.
Yeah. What did we see?
We saw Les Eclairs Lighthouse, which is a very pretty lighthouse. We also saw sea lions and really cute penguins. We saw
Adorable.
2 kinds of penguins. Magellanic and there's another one. I can't remember the other one, but we saw 2 kinds.
And we got to see Port Williams.
Yeah, we got to see Port Williams from the boat, which is the Chilean port town, which is a little bit further south than Ushuaia, but very, very small. It's like one house.
Yeah, no reason to go there.
Yeah. What did we just do?
We just finished navigating the Beagle.
We navigated it.
Navigated the
We have a
Beagle.
certificate of navigation.
Yep. We're certified in navigating the Beagle.
We did it a lot faster than Darwin.
Yeah, we beat him by 1,000 hours or something.
1,000 hours.
The guy's an idiot.
It's really slow in his little sailboat.
Yeah, doesn't have a catamaran.
We catamaraned it up
Catamaran the Beagle.
through the gable.
And if you ever need to be catamaran through the Beagle,
Briggle.
we've got a certificate to show that we can help
We
you with that.
navigated it through,
Yeah.
through the gable as well.
Through the Clark Gable Canal. Clark Gable Canal. All right,
So that's about it. People
All right.
are leaving, getting off
right, later.
our boat.
our boat. We're the captains. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you for-
coming. Thanks for riding the USS Beagle with us.
USS Beagle. The USS Beagle 2.
The Francesco.
Dos.
The Francesco.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Later. So we leave Ushuaia and
On a bus.
On a bus.
Going north.
Going north. We have to go past Rio Grande, and the only way back to the mainland is to put your bus on a ferry that goes over the Strait of Magellan.
Sure, cross the Strait of Magellan.
Strait of Magellan. What, if you had one word to describe the Strait of Magellan, what would that word be?
Windy as hell.
Crossing the Strait of Magellan with Western sheep.
Windy as hell.
That one word, windy as hell.
Windy as hell.
It was so windy.
It is windy, let me tell you.
We got put on a ferry with a bunch of cars parked, including a huge cargo truck full of sheep that were very confused to be on water.
Extremely.
And but we were allowed to get out and like walk around on deck and go up to the top of the deck, and it was hard to stand up. You had to hold on to the railing.
Yeah, so once we're up there, the guy, we go out there, we're in the wind, we realize this is a shitstorm. So we go down, we're like, let's get back on the bus. They say, you can't get back in the bus, you stay out in the shitstorm.
You stay out in the wind.
So we stay in the wind, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Blistering.
You felt like a salty sailor.
Yeah, Magellan was a salty son of a gun. We get off, we leave the Strait of Magellan.
Yep.
We keep driving. Personally, I'm driving the bus.
Yep.
We drive through Punta Arenas. We keep going to Puerto Natales. Puerto Natales. The real reason to go to Puerto Natales is because it's the jump-off point for Torres del Paine.
Of the national park we're getting ready to go to.
What's the park called?
Torres del Paine.
Torres del Paine. And where are we going in this park?
We are going. Well, first of all, our bus is going to drop us off here.
Okay.
Lago Amarga.
Yeah.
Bitter Lake.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take the bus all the way down to Lago Pejo. At which point we'll take a ferry across this lake. And then we're going to hike for 3 hours all along this way.
Big mountain here. A little iceberg. A little iceberg. It's nature. Beautiful. I'm tired.
I'm so tired. I gotta keep walking.
And then we're gonna go to this place, which is Refugio Grey, which is a little cabin, and we're right next to this huge glacier and on this lake.
Glacier Grey.
Glacier Grey.
Next day, we had scheduled an ice hike on
An ice hike.
Glacier Grey.
Glacier Grey. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life.
About an hour hike up some rocks
Yeah.
to make it to the glacier,
Yes.
where you attach your crampons,
And you get your ice axe.
which makes you feel like a superhero.
You're pretty cool at that point.
When you have crampons and an ice axe, you're a superhero.
Pretty much.
essentially. And then we began ice hiking on the glacier,
Yeah. That was
which
so cool.
is pretty surreal. It's pretty surreal. It's weird. All the land is just ice. Anything you put down will slide until it hits a crevasse and then it disappears.
Forever.
So you can't, nothing stays down. It's very strange terrain.
Yeah. And it's such a weird landscape. You just feel like you're not on Earth anymore.
Yeah.
Because everything's just so blue. Like, it feels like you're in a black and white photograph with blue.
Right.
The sky was so gray and black, and the mountains are so black and white with snow, and then you're on this bright blue glacier. And our guides would actually hook us up we had harnesses on, and they'd hook our carabiners up, and then they would anchor themselves in the ice and then lower us till we were right on the edge of these giant crevasses, and you could see straight down into these massive blue pits. And so that was a cool experience. We got to do that, like 3 times.
Yeah.
I've been separated from my party for 6 hours. I don't know where oh wait, never mind. Alright. Everything's fine.
So we go to bed, we say, well, it looks like we won't get to do the ice kayaking. We'll trek out tomorrow. It's a 3-hour trek back to the ferry to take us out. So we started hiking, and what we discovered were, I believe, 70-mile-per-hour gusts of wind.
Yeah, and rain. On high cliffs with slippery rocks and mud.
But we made it.
We did.
We
We're
got
alive.
back. I was wet.
We were soaked,
I was
cold,
smelly.
smelly.
I was tired. And then I got a cup of hot chocolate. That made me feel a little better, but not much.
And then we changed our clothes, which was nice. That was good.
Which was very nice. We
Yep.
got back on the ferry, got back across, hopped on the bus, got back to Puerto Natales, and had a good rest.
Yeah.
After that, we head to Calafate.
El Calafate.
El Calafate.
Yes.
So we take a bus from Puerto Natales to El Calafate.
Yeah.
And the main reason you go to El Calafate probably is to see the Perito Moreno Glacier.
Yes.
And you go to the Perito Moreno Glacier, and it's amazing. It's accessible. It's a very accessible glacier. They have a series of catwalks.
Yeah.
You can view the whole thing.
Argentinians, man, really good at building catwalks.
Great at catwalks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back in Argentina now, by the way.
Yes.
Calafate is Argentina.
Yeah. So after Perito Moreno, which was great,
Very cool.
we head back to El Calafate. So it was a good day.
It was a really
Good day.
Yeah.
But we didn't spend much time there because we heard that we had to get to El Chalten. El Chalten would
It's
be
the Mecca.
Would be the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And
it was.
And it was. The end.
And so it was.
Chips,
Yeah.
what do you hope happens today?
I want a condor to come grab me gently and then carry me up the mountain.
That sounds like fun.
It sounds really fun.
Have we seen condors?
I've seen numerous condors.
Numerous.
Yep.
Yep. And we hike.
Tres Lagos.
Tres Lagos. What is Tres Lagos?
It's a beautiful hike, and we hiked down to a certain point. Then Chips went home,
Yes.
And I continued hiking to the actual lake. But it was really pretty. It's at the base of Mount Fitzroy. But the lake was really beautiful and crystal clear. It just looked like a reflection perfectly in the water.
Yeah. But while Mary was at the lake, I went back to town, got a pretty cheap lunch, and it was delicious. So I feel like everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah. It's, tomato, tomato. What are you into, So we do that hike. We say we gotta stay here. We gotta do another hike.
Yeah.
So we do another. What's the second hike?
The next morning we did the Lago Torre.
We woke up very early to watch the sun hit Mount Fitzroy.
Oh yeah, we did that. The sunrise is almost directly opposite of Mount Fitzroy in the range, and so in the mornings the mountains look bright orange. They're really beautiful.
Yeah.
So then we did the hike to Lago Torre, which is at the base of El Torre, which is the tower, and it's just we called it the ice spike. It's just this giant ice spike of a mountain, and there's a beautiful lake there with glaciers in it, floating in it, and that was a great hike.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so El Chalten, beautiful.
Beautiful.
One word for El Chalten, what would it be?
Stunning.
Stunning. And my word would be phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria.
So after El Chalten, we it's kind of sad because we're kind of leaving your zone, right?
Yeah, I was really depressed. I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave Patagonia.
We are shadows, shadows in the alley. You die when you're young, you die when you're young, you die when you're young.
Amazing.
It was great.
On the bus ride out though, we had the most amazing view of behind us. You could see the dark outline of the Fitzroy Range.
It was like saying ciao to us.
It's like saying see you later.
Yeah. And where were we heading on that bus ride?
Well, we are going to a little town called Bariloche.
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 And what word would you use to describe Bariloche? Swiss.
Bariloche is like the Switzerland of the Andes, is what we heard. And it's a really nice town.
It's
really
gorgeous.
Liked it.
It feels like you're walking around Swiss. The mountains, the lake. It's right on the lake. The buildings.
The architecture is very Swiss.
The chocolate.
There's a lot of chocolate.
It's known for chocolate. And skiing.
It's very Swiss.
We feel like they're trying to out-Swiss the Swiss.
Yes.
So it was great. That was Bariloche. Bariloche. But we had to keep moving because the next day we decided we need to get a bus to see a Villarrica, which is an active volcano which you can climb.
Yes.
So we buy our tickets. The guy sells us our tickets. And these two British girls behind us are also buying tickets on a bus, and they say, "Oh, you're going to Villarrica?" And we say, "Yeah." And they say, "Went active earlier this month." And we said, "Didn't know that. Hadn't really been watching the news." So we had just bought tickets to a town that I later looked up and found out appeared to have been evacuated.
It looked intense.
It looked real intense.
So of course we wanted to go even more.
Right. So
and we're hoping we would see that happen again.
Right. So we hop on the bus to a town called Pucón. So when we first got to Pucón, we didn't have a lot of time. We wanted to find out what's something we can do today that's not really going to cost money. And they told us about a hidden waterfall.
Oh yeah.
So what we have here, fence we just jumped over.
Fence.
We've been following this treasure map.
Yeah, we had a treasure map given to us by a little gnome. And it says it's going to take us to a magical place with falling waters.
Yes.
And it says 150 paces from this fence, we'll see a secret trail.
Secret Chilean trail.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully he was right.
150 paces.
150.
Let's do it. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, so they show us a map. They say you're going to need this secret map, treasure map. We can't give it to you. Somebody drew it for us. You can take a picture
It
of
really
it.
did look like a treasure map.
Yeah, they had times marked out and vague instructions on dirt road.
We have big steps. Here's an arrow.
They took a couple hours to get there. And the last part became quite a treacherous downhill. Treacherous, which Mary injured herself.
I fell down.
Yeah. Mary got a boo-boo.
I did.
We found the waterfall, and it was very tranquil, very private.
Really pretty. I feel like I'm using the word pretty a lot, but everything we've seen has been so pretty.
Right.
Everyone, Chips has something he'd like to prove.
Yeah.
He'd like to prove that he's at one with nature.
Yeah, I'm clearly at one with nature.
You're so at one with nature right now. Even though 99.999% of the things that come out of your mouth relate to video games, movies, or television.
Oh, really?
Really.
Oh, really? Oh, nature came out of my mouth.
Oh, this better not go in the documentary.
And yeah, in general, it's just really great.
Yeah, it was nice. We also saw some jungle pigs.
Yeah, we saw some wild jungle pigs, which...
I don't think they were wild.
No, they were wild.
It was like a farmer's...
No, they were wild jungle pigs for sure.
We're still on the secret trail. We've run into a pack of wild pigs, wild jungle pigs. They seem generally unamused by us. Mary has taken a spill. Treacherous land and treacherous beasts. Wild jungle pigs. It seems to be a family of a mother perhaps and 3 babies. That's gonna be my dinner tonight.
And yeah, it was great. So we scheduled for our first day there. We scheduled a hike up the sister volcano, basically. The volcano right next door to Villarrica, which we hoped would be beautiful.
Yeah.
And how'd that go?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
The first couple hours is through a forest.
Yeah.
And then once you break through the tree line, you just get a great view of everything. And you just keep heading up. And after about another hour, the ground turns to just gravel. And
There's sand.
And yeah, small volcanic rock.
Ash.
Yeah, and it just slides under your feet. The volcano slowly gets steeper, and it tells you to get off, basically.
It's difficult to hike up because every step you take, you're just continuously falling back. So it's pretty exhausting.
It's walking up a beach in boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
But once you get to the top, it's a rewarding experience.
Definitely. The whole crater is now filled with a glacier. So you get to the top and there's just a crater full of glacier. And you can see a volcano in every cardinal direction. So you're basically on a volcano and you can see at least 4 other volcanoes from the top, including Villarrica, which was smoking, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and on the day we were there, all the mountains were covered in a haze, a cloudy haze. And there were volcanoes everywhere. It looked prehistoric.
It did.
Yeah.
Otherworldly. Yeah.
But the most fun part is getting down the gravelly, ashy surface of the volcano, because you can basically just slide down this mountain.
Run slide,
which should be a new sport.
Run sliding
down volcanoes.
They give you these giant canvas gaiters so that you don't get so much rocks and dirt in your pants, and then you just kind of run slide down the mountain. That was my best interpretation.
Yeah, run sliding. So
it's really fun.
Yeah, I highly recommend run sliding down volcanoes.
Yeah.
So We get back down the volcano. Walking through the forest, though, just became a dusty nightmare.
Yeah, it was hard to breathe.
It was very hard to breathe. I got what I call dust lung or mud lung. And that evening, I begin to expel whatever's in my lungs and stomach and bladder from both ends. And that lasts all night.
I did not know this was happening. And I went up and went hiking by myself because Chips had told me he didn't want to go hiking anyways.
At about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, Merritt comes back. I haven't even left the bed.
He looks like a goblin, curled up in the sheets.
I'd spent half the day in the bathroom, half the day in a bed. Anyway, it was the sickening.
The sickening.
The sickening. So
Chips is better though. Hardy.
Yep. So we get on a bus and we say, all right, we're getting out of here. We've seen what we can here. I'm still a little bit sick. We get on a night bus to Valparaiso, a port town.
The best town in Chile.
In Chile, near Santiago.
Great.
And we are actually currently
in Valparaiso.
At the port. And what's famous about this town? What's cool about this town?
Well, this town is basically like a giant abstract art museum. Every single corner is covered in giant murals that street artists have done. All the buildings are made out of completely mismatching materials. There are some that are like Rococo, classical, beautiful marble architecture, and then right next door there'll be buildings made out of scavenged boat parts like wood and shipping containers and like
metal.
Whatever paint buckets. Like they just would find random paint colors left over from the boats and just use that to paint their houses.
Yeah.
So all of the houses are different colors.
They basically had to start putting paint on all the sheet metal so it didn't rust.
Yeah.
So they would just use any paint they could.
But there's still a lot of rusty sheet metal out there making these buildings.
They have developed a series of transport systems to help you get over the hills.
Yes, ascensores. They are like terrifying elevators that you feel like you're gonna die on.
They all feel old and dilapidated and like they shouldn't be running.
Yeah.
But they still are. And some of these, you never know which ones are going to be open. There's a certain number of them in the town.
They close randomly.
They just close randomly. One we went to today, it's on the main maps, the city maps. It's clearly been overgrown, closed for like 15 years.
Yeah, it's like a trash pile.
It's a complete trash pile.
Yeah.
So no idea what that's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the houses are just stacked on top of each other. Nothing here opens at a time.
Like new.
Yeah. We didn't have a lot of time to spend here though. We had to get to Mendoza.
Yeah.
You know?
Had to get to Mendoza.
So we had our bus for this morning, 9 a.m.
No, it's 7:45.
7:45
We got up at
a.m.
5 in the morning to catch this bus.
Yeah, and oh, that's weird. What time is it? It's 6:10 right now in the afternoon. What happened to Mendoza, Mary?
Well, Chips. As we were trying to board the bus, they asked me for my reciprocity fee for Argentina, which Argentina has never asked me for, just the countries going over to Argentina. And I said, well, I have it paid. We can look it up online really quickly. But I lost the printout of it. And they refused to let me board the bus.
So extra day in
Valparaiso.
And soon we'll be leaving, heading off to Mendoza finally, to hopefully ride some bicycles and drink some wine.
Yeah, that's the plan. After sleeping in the bus station.
Perfect. So we'll see how that
I feel
goes.
like we should cheers now. Cheers.
Okay.
We'll do that in Mendoza.
We'll figure it out. We'll edit it in.
We'll edit it in.
All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. We arrived in Mendoza. We went to a little place called Mr. Hugo. And Mr. Hugo's a nice man who rents bicycles.
Yeah.
And so we rented bicycles from Mr. Hugo.
Mr. Hugo's living life to the fullest.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. So we had bicycles to
Yep.
tour the wineries. But before beginning the tours of the wineries, we went to a little taste testing class.
Yes.
Yeah.
We learned how to taste wine. which was fun and informative.
Yeah. all before noon.
What time is it?
I don't know.
It's like 10.
11 or something. So, taste testing, and I believe right after that, we went to the olive oil.
Yes, we went to one of our 2 olive oil orchards where we tried a huge variety of olive oils. The place was great, but our favorite was the garlic olive oil with the balsamic vinegar.
Oh yeah.
And it was amazing.
Amazing. You can tour around on bicycles around Maipú. It's very flat, very easy to bike, which is good because you're going to be drinking a lot of wine.
Basically.
And everywhere you go,
it's hard to drive.
Yeah, you stop, you pay not that much, and you get to do some taste testings on their wines. You get to choose in some of them exactly which wines you'd like to try.
Usually you, they give you a map on your bicycle and you just pick whichever wineries and you cannot make it to all of them. We tried.
Yeah.
We did a good job.
Right.
But it's impossible.
The sheer amount of wine you drink if you did make it to all of them, staggering.
It would be staggering.
Yeah.
It would be staggering. We made it to about 3 wineries, all 4 including one that's also a huge restaurant. It's like a restaurant, a Westwood winery.
Chips and I were just discussing if an olive is a fruit or a grain
or earth
or earth or a vegetable
or meat.
I'm pretty sure it's not a meat.
Yeah, teach their own.
A restaurant winery.
Yeah,
and
which is beautiful. There's a great porch.
It's gorgeous. Like it has a huge high balcony overlooking their vineyards and then the mountains in the background. And there we ate a delicious cheese board with 2 kinds of cheeses
and some salami
and some olives.
Oh, so good.
So good.
So pretty early in the day though, I had a bit of a flat tire on my bike.
A bit of a flat tire.
Yeah, but we were able to stop by one of the vineyards, do some wine tastings while they fixed my tire for me.
Suck it up.
That's what
I'm ready for some cheese. Why don't they come fix our bike tires so we can eat some cheese?
Look. Sitting in a vineyard. Sitting in a vineyard waiting for a bike repairman.
But I want some cheese.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I need a cheese plate and a pasta.
I'd like some more wine too. I wouldn't mind it.
And a pasta.
My teeth are purple.
That ain't normal.
Well, it's the wine.
Sure.
They give me all this wine.
Yeah. I tried to clean my teeth with the champagne. So yeah, we just biked around all day and drank wine and went back.
Yeah, a couple of those places were 100 years old, over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Vineyards and olive oil orchards.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
It's a great thing to do with your life.
Yeah. Okay, so after we were done with Maipú and all the wine tastings, we had to head out the next day for Santiago.
Yeah, and then the first thing in Santiago that we did was we went to an exhibit of Yayos Kushama's artwork, and she's a very famous Japanese artist who she was pretty revolutionary for her time.
Yeah. She suffers from a condition where she sees dots everywhere.
She hallucinates dots. Yeah, but it was a really awesome art exhibit. It was free. We got in for free. Even though we had to wait a little bit, but it was a great exhibit. She had some really cool installation art, some giant rooms that you would walk through that would all be covered in dots. Or my favorite were the infinity mirrors. There was just a room of mirrors and hanging different colored lights that would change colors and then black out and then come back in different colors, and it looked amazing.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah.
And then what did we do?
So first we visited the Plaza de la Moneda, or Palacio de la Moneda, which is Chile's White House, basically. It's where all their presidential offices are. And it was also bombed in 1973 during a military coup when Allende was taken out of power.
Yeah, President Allende. Much beloved here.
Yeah.
Okay, so for lunch, that was our first day. For lunch that day, where did we go?
Mercado Central.
Yeah.
The Central Market.
The old fish market, as I call it.
The old fish market.
Old fish market. And you can buy any fish you want
That really
there.
is what it is.
Yeah.
They have rows and rows. One half is like an actual fish market, and they have rows and rows of just different kinds of fishes.
The middle of the market is pretty well known. It's pretty touristy. So we stuck to the outside and ate at a little place. Has like 4 tables or something.
It's like a greasy spoon, basically, for seafood.
So that was the first day. So on day 2, our second day, today,
Last day of our trip.
the last day of this leg.
Segment, I guess.
Last day of this leg of the trip, we wake up, we had delicious breakfast again, and we head out for the cemetery. You said it would be really hard to beat the Buenos Aires cemetery, and it would be.
It would be. I think for me, I still like the one in Buenos Aires better, but this one was incredible.
It's totally worth seeing.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's massive, completely massive.
It's the biggest cemetery I've ever seen.
And really, really cool, ornate designs, but really interesting mausoleums, but also just rows and rows and rows of just small graves.
The mausoleums, though, were massive, like literally the size of a monument, like maybe like a monument in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that big, but very large.
Yeah.
And some of them were really interesting architecture, like shaped like a pyramid or a Mayan temple or a mosque.
Yeah.
It just had like crazy designs.
Yeah.
I guess trying to be unique.
And plenty of famous people. We found Pedro Montt.
One of the presidents in
early 1900s.
It was 1906 to 1910, I think. Was when he was the president of Chile. And of course, the tomb of Salvador Allende.
Yeah, which is really impressive and really cool sculpture.
Huge tomb, and it has a really pretty plaque with his last words, which he spoke on the radio from Palacio de la Moneda before the coup hit.
Yeah.
He knew he was going to die, basically.
After the cemetery, we had to get lunch again.
We're a little addicted.
Yeah.
So we went back.
To Uncle Willie's.
To Tio Willie's, yeah. It was really good.
It was delicious.
Delicious.
So, yeah, after Tio Willie's, we head back to our hostel, we grab our bags, we hop on a bus, we get to the airport.
And we're at the airport.
And we're at the airport right now.
Wow, look at that. Crazy.
Look at that.
Crazy.
Yeah, and now we're reporting this. So, now that we're at the airport, leaving Santiago, where are we going next?
We are flying to Lima, Peru.
Okay.
Which is going to be terrible because the Lima airport is the worst place on the planet, I've decided.
It's purgatory.
It's so bad.
It's like purgatory.
So it's going to be a rough night, but it's nothing we haven't done before.
Sure.
If everyone remembers Posadas.
Oh, we remember Posadas.
Go ahead and make the noise, donkey. Yeah, so we'll be in Peru.
Yeah, and what will we do in Peru? I believe the original plan, once we finally get to Cusco, the original plan was for us to hike Ausangate.
Ausangate!
Yeah.
Awesome Gate.
Awesome Gate. It's going to be great, except the fact that I decided I didn't want to do it.
Jupe doesn't want to hike anymore.
I know.
I made him hike too much.
I overhiked, and it was the food poisoning incident that finally got me down.
Yeah.
It was the hiking followed by me being really sick, and I said, you know what? I think I'm just going to take it a little easy. So I'm going to let you hike Ausangate.
I have to.
Right.
I said I have to do it before I leave Peru.
Yeah, but I said, I'm not sure when the next time I'm going to be back to Peru is, and I've never seen the Nazca lines, and I've always wanted to. So we're gonna split up, go our separate ways for the final stretch. I'm gonna go see the Nazca lines, and you're gonna hike Ausangate. 2 things we've always wanted to do. And I think we'll probably see each other after that in Cusco for a couple more days, and then I'm flying back to the States. So we'll see what happens. I'll check back in then.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Wish us luck that the plane workers don't go on strike tonight.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao,
Ciao.
ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao,
Ciao.
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 Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
All right. So, last time we recorded, it was Mary and I, and we were getting ready to go our separate ways. So when we got to Cusco, Mary took off. I stayed in Cusco for a day, and that night I took the most windy bus ride of my life to Nazca. It was pretty exhausting. I didn't really get any sleep. So when I got there, I didn't plan on doing anything the first day. I had like 4 days in Nazca. So I didn't plan on doing anything the first day. I was just going to plan, look around, book some tours for the next few days. But I found a tour agency, and he said he had a tour going to an archaeological site called Kawachi that I really wanted to see. It was a dune buggy ride. So I hadn't had any sleep, and I got in a dune buggy around lunchtime, and they took us out into the desert. It's one of the most dry deserts, definitely in the Americas. And Kawachi is a series of pyramids. It's a religious site made out of adobe, and it was really, really impressive. The Nazca, for being that far into the desert and in that dry a climate, to be able to construct such a massive complex. Only about 3 pyramids are excavated, but I believe there's at least a couple dozen that haven't been excavated. So it's a really massive site. So after seeing Kawachi, we got back in the dune buggy and we continued out in the desert. I started looking around. We're in this 4-wheel vehicle in the middle of the desert, driving through the dirt, and I start seeing a lot of bones around. And then we stop and we get out, and there's just a small pile of bones and cotton. And what it was the remains of a mummy. The Nazca would mummify their dead, and they would take out their organs, stuff them with cotton, and bury them. This particular mummy was not buried. They'd sometimes just leave their dead out in the desert. And the sun and the arid climate has preserved them for hundreds and hundreds of years. So that was the end of the dune buggy archaeological historical section, and then we started driving out into the desert. And I got the feeling that the guy who ran the dune buggy, he was interested in the archaeology, but he had way more fun doing the next section, where we scaled the dunes. There's, I believe, one of the largest sand dunes in the world is actually in Nazca, Cerro Blanco. And we scaled the dunes, not that one, some smaller dunes. And he asked if everyone was ready, and then he just peeled off down these dunes. And it was basically like being on a roller coaster without tracks. The speed that you can go down, it felt pretty unsafe, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing. Finally, we stopped with a face full of sand and dust. Got out and looked around the dunes for a while, and then he got out the sandboards. And some of the people we were with, they were pretty ambitious. They were standing up on the sandboards, and they're pretty quick. And some of the more ambitious people were standing up on them, strapping their feet in, and using them like snowboards. I was just sitting down because I found that we would just go much faster like that anyway. It was a great ride. You just kind of put your hands in the sand behind you and drag them along to balance yourself out. It was actually really, really fun. So the sun started going down, so we started heading back to town. And after a few minutes of driving, he pulled up onto a hill with the dune buggy, and we sat there for a few minutes just as we watched the sun go down behind the mountains. It was a really, really great first day. Yeah, it was a great first day in Nazca. Despite the fact that I hadn't had any sleep, the dune buggy was amazing, and I was just really genuinely interested in how they lived out there at that point. So on that second day, I had booked a plane ride for early in the morning, so I tried not to eat too much because I don't do terribly well with small planes and my stomach. So I went to the airport, and I get into a small plane, I think it was a Cessna, and we go up into the sky. And if you don't know about the Nazca people, the reason these flights are so popular is the Nazca would clear dirt, the darker soil on top of the desert to expose the lighter soil underneath. And by doing that, they would create these lines, and they would create these figures of animals or people, or sometimes just massive shapes, these trapezoids and lines that would stretch for kilometers into the desert. And everyone had their own theories on what these lines meant. Some people feel that they were pointing to the underground reservoirs because water was so important to the Nazca. Other people felt they were astrological, pointing to stars, certain constellations. But nobody is entirely sure. After the plane ride, my stomach was pretty shaken up. I got like more and more like feverish and sick during the plane ride, but I just kind of kept filming and hope I didn't throw up because there were no vomit bags on that plane. So after the plane ride in the morning, I went and I let my stomach settle, and then I had another tour. Just a small tour in a car. Me and one other guy, we went to a site called Chowchilla. And Chowchilla was their primary cemetery, and it's where they would bury their dead. They would dig these holes, kind of like mausoleums. They would dig these holes in the desert and put their dead in there, their mummified relatives. They would always face east, to face the rising sun, to kind of symbolize a new rebirth. And they would put their dead in these holes and cover them just with wood planks, but the wood planks have eroded over time, and now their dead are just out in the open. But because of the arid climate, they've been preserved amazingly for hundreds and hundreds of years. And the Nazca, their clothes still remain, some of their skin still remains. And when you start looking at their skin, you could see tattoos on some of them. They would have these really interesting tattoos and extremely long hair. They had these long, almost dreadlocks that would just wrap around the skeleton at the bottom. They'd be like 2 meters long and wrap around the bottom. A really aesthetically interesting people. So that was really kind of eerie. Yeah. After Chowchilla, that was pretty much the end of day 2. Day 3, I had one more tour to go to see the main aqueducts that the Nazca built. The main aqueducts that have been excavated. And so I went to see them, and it was really interesting. They still use these aqueducts today. This is still how they get their water for their crops and things, are from these ancient Nazca aqueducts. And they would build these spirals, spiral kind of walkways down to the water level, kind of like manholes, so they could go down and do maintenance. So that was interesting. So the guy who took me to the aqueducts, I asked him if he did tours to Maria Reich's house. Maria Reich was a mathematician who moved to Nazca in the earlier 1900s, and did a lot of sketches and came up with a lot of theories about the Nazca lines. So they have a lot of respect for Maria Reich, bringing attention to the lines and preserving their heritage. And afterward, on the way back, we stopped at the miradors, the lookout points. There's a watchtower where you can look out over two of the Nazca lines. One is called the Manos hands. It's a figure with two hands. One has 5 fingers, one has 4. Nobody's sure what the significance is, but also the monkey figure, I believe, in the desert, one of his hands has 5 fingers, one has 4. So nobody's entirely sure what that symbolizes. The other figure you can see from the watchtower is the tree. And afterward, we went back to town. Day 4 was my last day there. I didn't plan anything to do that day. I had seen most of what I wanted to see, but I had heard about a museum in town. So I found the museum. I went there, and it was a great museum. A lot of Nazca artifacts, a lot of tools, a lot of weapons, and some really interesting Nazca skulls. Turns out they would actually drill holes in the skulls to put a rope through, so they could carry the heads around. I believe as trophies. So they would carry trophy heads, and they had a lot of the skulls still there with the holes in them. Some of them with the rope still in them, and you could also see some cranial deformations. They would strap boards and things to the head, so that when they were growing, it would misshape their head, and that was fashion in a few cultures in that area. So that was a really great museum, and then I took off. Waited for the bus. Took the long windy bus all the way back to Cusco. In Cusco, I met back up with Mary, and we went to Ollantaytambo, the small town where she had been living for the last year before we did this trip. And I saw some people there who I knew, and we had a great time. The next day, I went back to Cusco. I flew out through Lima, through Dallas, back to Nashville. And it's always, I don't know, it's always sad ending a trip. I was extremely exhausted, but yeah, it's always sad, after seeing everything we'd seen and doing everything we'd done. But I always assume that I'll go on another trip, and so far it's always been true. I've always gone back on another trip somewhere else in the world, or I'll go back and see things that I didn't see before. It was sad, but it felt nice to get home. So I got home, got a haircut, clearly, and Mary will be coming back to the country in a week or 2. And yeah. So now I just need to get a job and start thinking about where I'll go next. Maybe Thailand. Yeah. It was a hell of a trip.
next time.